Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a sleep hypnosis session that is designed to help drift off into a calm, relaxing, rejuvenating sleep, but by going about it in a different way. So I've worked with a lot of people to help them change how they think about sleep. And quite often what can happen with sleep is that it might be that someone has a night or two of interrupted sleep and they feel really bad the next day. So then they start thinking more about sleep. And sleep is one of those things that the more you think about it, the more difficult it is to have just natural, unconscious, relaxing sleep. And I was working with a client who it had been over 5 years since they could remember having a prolonged period of time where they were sleeping really, really well. So what I did in this hypnosis session is two key things. One is an element of regression, but I wanted to regress back to a time where they had irrefutable evidence that they were sleeping well. So they were living in a different place, and it was tapping into a sunset they can recall at a time in their life when they were sleeping well, and a particular room and a house and a bed that they had night after night consistently good sleep. So they already knew how to sleep well. They just weren't activating those same neural pathways that were activated in the past. Now, you can call that a resource state, or you can call that unconscious patterns. But either way, she knew how to sleep well back then. Sometimes it's good to apply the principle of the law of reverse effect. So there's a big emphasis here on relaxing stress, relaxing tension, which is useful to do anyway, because if you feel relaxed, you tend to be more conducive to the kinds of physical states where you can really have that kind of natural sleep. But there's a big emphasis here as well on making the most of the time when they're awake. And in doing so, and I use the analogy of if you focus on breathing in and only breathing in, very quickly you run out of breath. And focusing on sleep too much is a bit like that. Whereas if you focus on really breathing out as much as you can, then you breathe in naturally anyway. So this is designed to have an emphasis on rejuvenation, replenishment, recharging the batteries, so that they activate them at them being stimulated and productive, not just work-wise, but kind of physically. That might be training or running, emotionally, intellectually, as much stimulation as possible. And then in doing so, it builds new rhythms, new routines that naturally cultivate sleep. Normally, the end of these hypnosis sessions have an awakening and they have the outro music. This one doesn't. It has an option of an awakening. So if you want to awaken, you can, but if you want to drift into sleep, that's also an option. And in this particular recording, I'm removing the outro. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress or tension or worries to feel like it's slowly leaving your body in that outward breath. Breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation and noticing that your eyelids are feeling heavier, more relaxed, releasing any tension. Feeling a weight on your eyelids. And with your eyes closed, feel a wave of relaxation flowing from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. And allow the frequencies of the sounds around you, the sounds of my voice, to take you into a place of deeper relaxation. And sometimes we have rhythms that are wired to a way of living. And those rhythms sometimes fall out of sync with the lives that we live. You've had times in your life where you move from one country to a new country, and your body and your mind were still used to the time zones of a different time. And it was possible for you to feel sleepy even when the sun was shining, and to feel wide awake and alert even if it was the middle of the night. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine that we're recalibrating your inner clock, allowing rhythms to reset. And every now and then you reset things. A clock that's run out of batteries. Perhaps you reset a computer or a phone. And I want you to imagine that as we go on a journey into your imagination, we're going to reset a current way of thinking to how it was in the past. So I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine you're going all the way back in time and finding yourself perhaps on a rooftop bar, or perhaps a balcony or a terrace, where you're just minutes away from seeing a beautiful sunset. And even if this was in a city, I want you to imagine that you're pausing everyone but you. Like there's this giant game of musical statues, and it's only you that is able to move and breathe and exist. So as you breathe in and breathe out, surrounded by all these stationary people, you can enjoy this sunset in silence and solitude. And I want you to get a sense that your ancestors, thousands of years ago, used the sunset as a biological trigger to activate the desire to get ready to sleep. And perhaps those same ancestors used the sunrise as a biological trigger to awaken, No alarm clocks back then, just the sun setting and rising each day. So I want you to imagine seeing that sunset, the blue sky turning yellow and orange and pink, and maybe seeing the sun go behind skyscrapers or a skyline that you can still recall. And I want you to imagine a time when you had a really good yawn. And as you imagine the sun setting, think back to that yawn. How could it felt to have that long, relaxing yawn? And there's something strange about a yawn, because even just thinking about a yawn creates a similar feeling of relaxation in the neck muscles, a feeling of drowsiness starting to emerge, because the biological function of a yawn is to help communicate to your body that you are minutes away from being able to sleep. So as you think about that yawn, imagine actually yawning there as the sun sets, as the blue sky gets darker. And as it sets, I want you to imagine that you are now standing in front of a Victorian house, maybe one you recognize, holding a key in your hands. The key to the front door is just a symbol for unlocking ways of thinking and feeling just like you did in the past. Imagine holding that key, putting it in the lock, and as I count down from 5 to 1, you will imagine unlocking the door, opening the door, and walking into a familiar place that you used to sleep in a relaxed way. More importantly, turning the key unlocks the resources that have been elusive these last few years. 5, turning the key. 4, putting your hand on the handle. 3, opening the door. 2, walking through the door. And then 1, closing the door behind you. And then remembering this place that you used to live. But I want you to imagine there's no one there but you. And I want you to imagine the sun has already set. And I want you to imagine walking to that room you used to sleep. I want you to imagine doing whatever you used to do to get ready for bed. Maybe you brush your teeth. Maybe you did other certain inconsequential things, taking off footwear, changing clothes. But I want you to feel, not that you're observing yourself, but that you're doing those things, reactivating the neural pathways that already know how to effortlessly sleep. Again, feel what it would feel like to yawn. And as you yawn, just in your imagination, feel like any tension around your jaw and your neck is just melting away. A wonderful feeling of relaxation is getting stronger. And there is an increasing feeling of drowsiness. So drowsy. And maybe you remember as a child being given hot chocolate or warm milk, a natural sedative that took you towards this drowsy feeling. And imagine that's happening inside your mind right now as you now feel like you're dressed and ready for bed. And look at the room. Remember the ceilings, the lighting where the window was. Remember the position of the bed, the softness of the pillows. And I want you to imagine you're climbing into that bed, pulling the duvet over you and feeling almost like your head is sinking into the pillow. Your body's sinking into the mattress. And as I count backwards from 10 to 1, I want you to tense and then relax muscles. Each time, enabling your muscles to feel so much more relaxed than they were before. 10. Tensing any muscles in your forehead and around the eyes. And then releasing that. And it feels so good to release that tension. And then 9. Just focus on the muscles in your jaw. Maybe clench your teeth, your jaw, all the muscles in your face. And release that tension now. Each time feeling more and more relaxed. 8. Just tense the muscles in your neck and your shoulders. And release that tension. And it feels so good. 7. Tense all the muscles in your arms. Clench your fists. Tense all of them. That's it. Breathe in a feeling of resourcefulness, and as you exhale, release that tension. Feeling like your arms are now limp, loose, heavy, by your side in that comfortable bed. And then 6. Try and tense the muscles in your chest. Breathe in that feeling of resourcefulness. And exhale. Elongating your outward breath to really release the tension. Feeling so deeply relaxed now. And that's it. Imagine your internal organs relaxing. Your lungs relax as your breathing gets slower and deeper. Your heart relaxes, gut relax. In fact, any anxiety there deep in your gut is just melting away. And I want you to tap into a wonderful feeling of gratitude. All you need to do is to think of one thing you feel grateful for. Maybe it's your health, something in your life, a person, an experience, something you learned. One wonderful thing to feel grateful for, and feel that gratitude, perhaps there in the middle of your chest, expanding outwards, having a ripple of gratitude going to every cell in your body. 6 and then 5, just start to tense the muscles perhaps in your thighs. Make them tense, breathing that feeling of resourcefulness, and then as you exhale, release that tension. 4, do the same things with your calf muscles. Tense. And in the outward breath, release. Now your toes, tense all the muscles in your toes, your feet, all the tendons, and then release that. Now feeling deeper and deeper relaxed. As I count down from 2 to 1, I want you to imagine what it would be like to imagine that you're falling asleep. 2 and then 1, just your whole body feeling like you're drifting off into a deep, deep sleep. And in that sleep, imagine that you're dreaming. And I want you to imagine you're dreaming that you're in a bed in a different world, far, far away. A world where you are safe and secure, far away from reality. And in this new world, your mind is open to new ideas and new ways of thinking to enable changes to take place. Sometimes we think about things that don't need thinking. And sleep is one of those things that the harder you think, the worse sleep becomes. So sometimes, just like a magician, it's better to direct the attention to something else. Because as you fill your life with goals and challenges, things to do, things to see, things to be, and as you fill your life with those things, everything has the law of opposites. The more active you are in the daytime, the more your body will need sleep to rest, recover, and rejuvenate. So just imagine being in that comfortable bed in a strange, dreamlike world as you open your mind to powerful suggestions that can help change neural pathways and reactivate old ones. Feel how relaxed your eyelids feel. And imagine how good it would be to let go of any and all stresses and tension, allowing a profound sense of calm to just wash over you. And here in this dream world, imagine a tranquil oasis where a feeling of serenity washes over you, bringing you towards deep and peaceful sleep. Feel a gentle flow of drowsiness sweeping over you, inviting you to drift into a peaceful slumber. And because this is just a dream world, you can visualize yourself in a cozy cocoon of relaxation where worries and thoughts gently dissolve. Your body has a rhythm, and I want you to imagine when you're awake, the rhythm is a high frequency. But here in the evening, when it's time to sleep, imagine your body and mind slowing down, finding the perfect rhythm for rest and rejuvenation. As you embrace the soothing sensation of tranquility, allowing it to cradle you into a deep, serene sleep. And here in this dream world, imagine this cozy cocoon bed is outside and you're looking up at this clear night sky, filled with stars, each star representing a peaceful and restful night's sleep. And feel the weight of the day lifting from your shoulders, leaving you with a wonderful feeling of pure relaxation. And you could imagine what it would be like to sleep, even if you're not. And as you drift into this imaginary sleep, your thoughts become like calm ripples on a tranquil pond. Allow the peaceful energy of the night to fill you, guiding you into a profound and restful slumber. And in this dream world, imagine that you can feel a gentle breeze of sleepiness sweeping over you, taking you into a deep and restorative sleep. It feels good in that cozy, secure cocoon of relaxation, protecting you from any worries or anxieties. Notice that as you slowly breathe out, it's effortless to take the next breath in. And as you increase what you do in the daytime, sleep becomes effortless as a natural consequence of a productive, focused, energetic day. So feel your body sinking into a state of serenity, ready to embrace the rejuvenating power of sleep. And use that imagination to picture a soothing, calm river flowing through your mind, carrying away any lingering thoughts or concerns. Or maybe you can envision a peaceful garden where those worries are transformed into blossoms of tranquil sleep. Your arms are feeling limp, loose, heavy. Another desire to have a deep, long yawn. Feeling so completely relaxed now. And as you start to drift off into a wonderful sleep, appreciate that your body is finding new rhythms to recharge and revitalize your energy. Feel what it would feel like to be completely safe and secure, allowing you to fully let go and rest now. And your body knows how much sleep you need. And maybe it's 7 hours or more, and on certain days maybe slightly less. But imagine how good it would feel for your body to have permission to sleep as much as it needs. And after those essential, restful, replenishing hours of sleep, you can awake feeling alert, focused, and energized. Your body will very quickly learn to embrace the natural cycles of sleep, knowing that each and every night brings you closer to complete rejuvenation. And if your unconscious mind feels that you are awakening, old neural pathways that already know how to sleep well, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And now that it's awoken, your body can sleep. And I want you to imagine you now have so many options. You could imagine sleeping in this safe, dreamlike world. You could imagine sleeping in a bed where you had amazing, rejuvenating night's sleep. Or you could imagine being back in your body, still feeling the same way that you can sleep in a deep, relaxing, rejuvenating way. And sometimes you'll listen to this at a time where you're not ready to sleep. And sometimes this will be the exact time to sleep. Very soon, I will count from 1 to 10. And if your unconscious mind wants you to awaken, you will awaken when I reach to 10. But if your unconscious mind wants you to drift off into a wonderful, rejuvenating sleep, then that's what it will do. starting to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.